All right, class. So today we are talking about scientific communities and ethical considerations. So we're going to start by talking about peer reviews. When an experiment is complete, the scientist often submits the results for peer review, especially if they want these results to be published. So what a peer review is where you send this to a peer. So that would be an individual at the same level of education or specialization. And typically it's multiple peers. And they're basically going to check your work. They will take a look at how you performed the experiment, right? They're going to make sure it was a well-controlled experiment. They're going to make sure you had the correct processes. They're going to take a look at your data and they're going to see if you came to the correct conclusions with that data. So they are checking your work to make sure the correct scientific processes were followed. Because anyone, you don't have to be a scientist, you don't have to follow the scientific process, right? Anyone can put things out on the internet, and they may or may not always be trustworthy. So we have this peer review process to make sure that when we're looking for data, we can look for experiments out there that have been published that are peer reviewed, and we know that that's going to be more trustworthy than just anything else out there that we find. So whenever you're doing research, for a science topic, it's always best to look for peer-reviewed articles, because those are the ones that are going to be more trustworthy, because we can know that the scientific process was followed properly here. It's important to know that peers are at the same level of education or specialization. So you can't just pick anyone off the street to peer review your article or peer review your experiment. If the scientist doing this experiment, is a PhD and they're specialized in this specific subject, they need to find other people that also have a PhD, that also specialize in that subject, to review their experiment, because you need to make sure that that peer has the ability, to identify flaws and identify mistakes that you may have made. So for you guys in this class, your peers are your classmates, because we're all at the same level. We're all at the high school level and performing that level of experiments. So we will do peer reviews in this class where your classmates are checking your work. So the peers will review the experiment and determine if there are flaws in the process or flaws in the conclusion. And if the peer reviewers take a look at your experiment and they're satisfied, they say, yes, you did a great job, the experimental results may be published in a scientific journal. So it's like a book of, all the experiments that have been done that year that have been peer reviewed and shown to be trustworthy. Peer review is one of the most important ways that the scientific community guards against faulty science. So like I said, right, just anyone out there can publish whatever they want on the internet, and that can be hard to know if it's true or not. So when we are doing research, we need to make sure that it is peer reviewed so we know that the scientific process was followed.